Oh, so I hear you've been getting so many ads for these indie games.
I sure am. It's terrible. It's just the new standard now, advertising a game that doesn't even exist yet?
So there's not even like a release date?
No.
Okay, what about a planned like month or like time of year?
Not even that. I think one said Q5, which I don't think exists.
It that is next year, like Q1 of next year. So yeah, that's normally how they do it.
Terrible.
That is awful.
I hate it here.
So when you said you were getting all these advertisements, I just assumed it was part of the Xbox announcement today.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
Right, they released a bunch of, or announced, not released. They announced a bunch of games for this year and next year. And have you heard of the game Perfect Dark?
No.
Okay, well, it's a pretty popular game for the N64. It was the sequel to GoldenEye 007. But it was like its own, it was the spiritual successor. Basically.
Yeah.
It was its own thing. And for some it's getting a remake.
Alrighty.
Or like a new, I believe it's a new game.
Yeah.
But it's called Perfect Dark and it has like the underscore title to signify that it's a new game. And this is the most foul thing I have ever seen. No, the game looks great, but the reaction I saw online.
I see.
It was just some sheeple content creator, and he looks at the video, the trailer. It shows like some scenery, and then it pans up to the main character, who is Joanna Dark.
Yeah.
And the game is basically you're like a secret spy organization, and you go through and you play a spy game. It was a great game. Perfect Dark, really, really good. However, this guy watches the pan up to Joanna Dark, and then it shows who's making the game.
Yeah.
It like cuts from that to who's making the game, and he sees who it is, and like he starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, is this a Perfect Dark remake or remaster or whatever?" And then it shows literally one section of like a street, and it shows one of the character powers where you can like it's like Eagle Vision in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Where you can like mark all your enemies. He starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, chat, this gameplay looks amazing." And I'm like, I was like raging at my phone, and I'm like, this is why content creation is awful. He has seen almost nothing of the game and is like pandling it to all of his viewers. I don't know how many there are. I've never seen this guy before. He's some, TikTok schlub, I think. But if I could give a dislike on TikTok, I would.
If only.
He just immediately said how amazing the game looks, and I'm like, if you want this amazing game, this already exists. It's Assassin's Creed. Play any Assassin's Creed game. You got exactly what they showed. Obviously, Perfect Dark is different than Assassin's Creed, but of what they showed from his response, just play Assassin's Creed.
Sees 30 seconds. Game of the year.
That's right. That was his reaction, literally. It was so... I almost sent it to you. I'm like, I'm raging so bad. This isn't even supposed to be rage bait, and it's just burning in my veins.
Maybe it is. Reverse psychology.
True, it worked on me. I'm like, this is why content creation is so just fucking awful. It's just mewling at any thing you see these days.
Mewling.
That's right, he was. But maybe we'll do an episode on games announced, because there was between the indie games and the Xbox games, there's a lot for this coming year.
Oh yeah, big year for 2025. Shame they're not coming sooner. I got nothing to play.
Play. Well, I guess you can play the fucking. What is it? Scred? No. What's the game?
Scred.
The DLC that you haven't played.
Oh, the Dredge DLC.
Dredge.
Blackheart
Dredge.
something. I guess I could play that.
Scred.
Scred.
What the fuck is Scred? Amazing.
Street cred.
That's the. Welcome everybody to episode 121 of You're Ridiculous.
Woo!
My name is Luke. I'm one of your hosts, as always. With me, your other host, Wolf.
That's me.
Only a few minutes late this time.
New record.
But you gave me a heads up, so you get the pass. It doesn't go in crimes folder this time.
Not this time.
All the other past transgressions have been recorded. last week I forgot what we called it. I didn't write it down.
I got shit.
It was the
Get on my wavelength.
Oh yeah, same wavelength. Get on my wavelength. That's what it was called. That's right. Good memory. Where the game where we tried to say the same word without knowing what the word is ahead of time.
Yeah, it's great.
That summary was way better than how I explained it in the original video. But it was really funny. That's right. It was really funny. Go give it a watch if you haven't already. But this week we are talking about Scavengers Reign.
Yeah.
A new animated, well, relatively new animated show that was originally on HBO Max. They decided to drop it, and then Netflix has picked it up. So if you want to watch it, tune over to Netflix.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to want to watch it after this review.
Oh, definitely.
If you haven't already. Let's get right into it. Wolf, what is Scavengers Reign?
Scavengers Reign is a Western anime sci-fi set on like an alien planet after a ship like crash landed on it, basically. Like it's a cold open, and they're like some schmucks, some workers are just like monitoring all their cargo ships, and they're just like, one just disappeared. Sucks for them.
It did. It's like, should we tell someone about it? It's like, nah.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
What
did you think?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I heard about it on Twitter because like I didn't get any advertisement, of course, as things go, and I think all the people who worked on it got laid off. So they're like, they're like, oh yeah, I worked on this. Hey, check it out. It's about to come out, etc., etc. And so that's why I checked it out.
Yeah, I also heard about it on X, and it was really. I did that to my sister earlier, and she also corrected me. And she doesn't even use Twitter at all.
She knows.
She does. I also saw it on Twitter. I don't remember where why it came up. You know, you follow a bunch of related people in the business. I don't remember why I saw it, but I'm glad I did because we saw it about the same time. After we recorded our previous episode, you're like, oh, maybe we should talk about this TV show. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about Scavengers Reign? And I'm like, yeah. So I saw it on, I also saw it on Twitter. And then it was canceled by HBO Max.
Yeah.
The studio itself, I believe, was fucking terminated.
Dissolved.
Yeah. And then Netflix decided to pick it up, like I said, which I'm very glad they did. Did you know that this show is originally based on a short that previewed on Adult Swim?
I did not know that.
I'll send you the link and you can watch it later. But basically, it's sort of a more rough draft of episode 1.
Okay.
Yeah, it has Sam and it has Ursula. They don't have any voice lines, but it's just sort of them on the world, showing the different uses for all the different plants and animals.
Yeah.
They're much more experienced in this version than they are in the show. But there are a lot of similar aspects, like the character design, barring, an aging from Sam, is pretty much the same. Outfit's a little different, of course. Obviously, the show is a lot more polished than this version.
Yeah.
But it's very similar and probably worth checking out since, well, we'll find out if you enjoyed the show. What are your overall thoughts on the show before we dive into specifics?
Greatly animated. I think my favorite plot line, I guess, was Cayman's. Ending's a little weak, but the trip there was great.
Okay, fair. Okay. Did you in fact find the show to be cerebral?
I guess so. What does it even mean?
That is one of the new tags on Netflix. You can see this show is, and then it says something.
Cerebral.
For this one, it says this one is cerebral, which is, it just means, what is this word? It just means something, activating part of the brain, basically.
I think that's everything. Cocomelon is cerebral.
Cocomelon is fucking hypnotic trancing all your kids.
Exactly.
God. Fuck Cocomelon.
Oh man.
My thoughts on the show. I agree that the animation was really, really good. However, I can't find the original thing, but basically everybody was saying that this is like stunning and crazy animation. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it was like a 10 out of 10 for the style and how they did it.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it didn't look super different than things that I've seen before. It's just very, very well done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, obviously, all of the flora and fauna of the show is amazing. But I think I saw some sort of review that it was like almost transformative, and I didn't
Hold on now.
Yeah, I didn't really see where that's coming from, but I was curious to like get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's like it's well animated. It's the standard Western anime style. It looks like Castlevania,
It does,
which is like
yeah,
a
that's
mature
true.
Avatar style.
Right.
I think
that's a really good definition of it.
it shines most when it's like focusing on like the alien flora and fauna, but when it's just like the humans on screen doing stuff, it's like pretty basic.
Yeah, I 100% agree. When it's all the technology stuff, that's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
It looks good, but like I'm not like floored. You're right though. When it swaps over to the planet's name is Vesta.
Vesta.
And when it swaps over to anything Vesta related, that's great.
Yeah, and I think that's more to speak of like the creativity and how the like I'll call it the world building of this planet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which, speaking on the world building, I loved it. It was so like unique and clever.
Yeah. This planet's too damn alive.
You said that when you were like on episode 6 or something, and I'm like, I don't know, it seems kind of like, I don't know how alive it is, and I got like episode 4, and I'm like, oh my god, this planet is fucking alive. This is like some fucking crazy shit. Now, the very minor criticism, actually, it's really not even a criticism because inspiration is going to come from somewhere, but it reminded me a lot of two different things. Obviously Avatar, the blue people, not the show, 2009 Avatar, and Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind.
Oh,
which was Hayao
Miyazaki.
Yeah, I don't know what I combined it. Miyazaki film from I think like 89 or something like that. And it like I'll send you just one picture and I think you can see where some of the inspiration came from.
Oh,
like, that's literally one of the like birds that we see throughout the show.
It is.
Right, like, but so the animation is really similar, and it's like a alien planet sort of thing. He like created a comic of this, and then it obviously became one of his movies. And not to like take anything away from the creators of Scavengers Reign, they admitted that like this and a few other things are all their inspiration. Like,
right.
It's obviously going to look like that. It's not really a criticism, but it's like, yeah, this is like kind of like a successor in a way, like how Stardew Valley is a successor of
Harvest Moon.
I want to combine the words. Yeah, Harvest Moon. Also, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I think I was way more into watching the humans interact and learn about the world and interact with the flora and fauna than I was the dynamics between human to human.
Yeah. You could go.
Oh, okay. I think one of my favorite things while watching was that the writers and the animators didn't need to explain everything that you were watching. They didn't hold your hand at the time, at like all points of the show.
Yeah.
A lot of, especially like the sort of secondary opening scene where we meet our first characters, Sam and Ursula, they're like crawling inside of like a calf or cow bovine animal, right?
Yeah.
And he's like doing a bunch of stuff with the guts, and then it pukes him out, and he gets like one very small orb or something. And it's like they didn't ever explain like what all that does or how that animal works or what's happening on there. but you understand the outcome is that they got a glowing orb that they use as a flashlight.
Yeah.
And like that's super cool. Like you don't need to understand all of it to appreciate what you're watching, which I think a lot of other shows rely on hand-holding and like juxtaposition too much to justify what you're watching.
If this was a Marvel movie, they'd be having banter back and forth. Like, oh, we crash landed on this planet. Oh, we need to do this, this, and this. This really sucks. You're just in the moment with them.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like really, really refreshing aspect of the show, I thought. Okay. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a bit of a cough.
Okay. I can cut that out.
In terms of, like I said before, I really like Cayman's story. Everyone else is kind of, I didn't like Ozzy. I liked Levi. I didn't like Ozzy.
Okay. Let's I have thoughts on that. Let's dive like right into it. We'll start with the people that the show starts us with, Sam and Ursula.
Okay.
They're a pair from the beginning. Sam is the captain and Ursula, I don't even know what she is.
She's I don't know actually.
A medical person? She's not medical. I don't know what she is.
She's a plant person.
She
grows plants.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Which it makes sense. Oh yeah, I guess we did know because she starts drawing. She makes the field guide. Yeah. At the end. And they're a pair from the beginning. They were in this escape pod, or at least they are what's left of what survived the escape pod. And their story is Sam calls down the Demeter, it lands, and then they travel on. They don't really have any sort of baggage like Levi and Cayman's story plotline do.
Yeah.
Theirs is much more exploring surviving the world together as a pair, as a symbiotic pair, right? Like they need each other to survive this world.
Yeah. Which
I thought was really enjoyable, but it sounds like you didn't jive with it as much.
They're okay. It was fun watching them like interact with the planet, the world's most hostile fucking planet. I like seeing like the creative ways they were utilizing the very alive planet, like how the squids that were breathing math that they stole from Rick and Morty.
They definitely stole that from me. Did you remember, or did I remind you about that?
I remembered.
Okay, yeah, because like that's clearly a rip off of Rick and Morty. Like, I'm all for inspiration. When it, about like Nazca, the Hidden Valley and stuff, and Avatar, but this was like a straight up rip off.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it's we've seen it before somewhere.
I feel like the whole time I felt like they weren't moving with enough urgency, and like Ursula, she has her point, like her ability to like look around and see and really take things in does help at times. It also hinders them a lot.
It did slow them down a fair bit. Like that is definitely fair. Sam, it felt like he had the urgency, but it also, I sort of took it as he's a bit of an older guy. So they're not like, and Ursula probably is not the most athletic of the members. So I sort of took it as they're going at their own pace, right?
Yeah.
And like they can't expect they don't have any assurance that any of the other pods survived.
Yeah.
So their goal is to get there to the Demeter alive, wake up whatever crew, the cryostasis crew is alive there, and then, go from there.
Yeah.
So I understand that like the lack of urgency, but I did kind of expect them, hustle a little bit more.
I would have risked being crushed by the spaceship if it meant I could land it a little closer. Because I swear they put that thing on the other side of the country.
I think if I remember, they were like, it's going to land, somewhere close by. And close by was like a 5-day journey. I definitely would have preferred, because it's like a humongous ship, but it's not wide. It's long.
It's narrow.
Right. So you could run to the side of it, basically.
Yeah.
And escape it, right? If you were gonna, if they somehow got that close to the landing. But yeah. Okay, so let's like rate individual things. I would give Sam and Ursula's storyline a 9.
I give it like a...
I was like pretty sad when Sam died.
I was sad.
Like, because they succeeded in their quest to get there, and all Sam wanted to do was like, he wanted all of his crew members to make it there, as many as possible. Like, he really cared and felt responsible for the crew and sort of the crash and everything what happened, even though it quite obviously wasn't his fault, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
So that was a little, I was pretty mixed emotion at that point. Like, I was pretty sad. So I would give them a 9. What about you?
I was very sad, but I'd give them like a 7.
Fair enough. I'll accept a 7. All right, moving on to, we'll do, I think, what is your favorite last. So we'll do Ozzy and Levi next.
Alrighty.
Do you want to give a summary of what their story was?
Oh, yeah, okay. So Ozzy and Levi landed together. Levi's a robot.
Levi is a robot.
The
robot, like, is called Levi. They didn't name it Levi.
Yeah,
like,
all of them are called Levi.
Right, they're all called Levi. It's like a, C-3PO from Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah. And Ozzy's got a weird dynamic with Levi because Levi sounds like Fiona, who it seemed like she low-key had the hots for, but not as much as that other girl, Mia.
Yeah.
And they landed, I guess, on the other side of the country, and like with a bunch of like alien cows, effectively.
Pretty much.
And she's been putting all her effort into like keeping them away and keeping them from destroying her thing. Because like a weird thing with almost all of them, that this planet is like a series of cycles, and it's like they are interrupting those cycles, and so they're not in like a hostile way, but like they're just in the way.
Yeah, they're disrupting the natural flow of nature, literally. Like,
yeah.
Everything sort of has its purpose, and everything around that one thing interacts with it. Like everything, it's all very symbiotic in a way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Levi and Ursula, by just existing, are disrupting it, and that's making the sort of cow aliens hostile. Yeah. They are reminiscent of like grazing cattle.
Yeah, with just like weird tentacles slapped on them. I liked Levi. I love Levi. Ozzy's, I didn't like her as much. I especially didn't like her in the last 2 episodes where she's on something.
What was wrong with Ozzy at the end?
She's blowing it at every fucking step is what's wrong.
What do you mean?
So I don't blame her for like her distress signal gets out, and it happens to be like a bunch of raiders or whatever, poachers, pillagers.
Yeah,
that's not her fault. She couldn't have known that. Right. But they get here, and they're clearly not. They don't care about saving the people on the Demeter, and she clearly sees that. She decides she's gonna launch the most sloppiest mutiny miles away from the ship instead of doing it there where she actually stands a chance of actually doing something and stopping them.
Okay. I actually thought the sort of mutiny aspect was pretty valid because she deliberately didn't put enough of the sticky juice on her shoes, on Chris's shoes, and then, came like with the sweep the legs trick pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where she fucked up was not just bludgeoning her from the beginning and sending her flying away down the river. Yeah,
she didn't go all in because of Barry. She had the idea that Barry, after spending years with this woman, would suddenly be on her side after like a day or two together. And naturally, he knocked her the fuck out.
Barry just clocks her in the head with a rock. Like, you get fucked. That was, I thought, the slip up.
Yeah.
I think she's better off trying it there than at the ship, because then they have access to everything in the ship, and if they, if Ozzy loses the fight, then there's no hope of reawakening anybody. At least here at the river, she stands a chance, right? Like, I think a better chance.
I guess.
because it was all like premeditated, basically.
Yeah.
She deliberately didn't put enough sticky shit on her boots, and you know she had the plan. She caught her by surprise, all that sort of thing.
Chris was just built different.
Chris was actually built different.
That did not slow her down one bit.
No, in fact, she did not give a shit. She did. She is the definition of just let things go.
Yeah.
And she tries to teach that to Ozzy, and Ozzy does not take it well.
She's not having it.
No, she, in fact, likes all the memories and everything. Levi, however, I was sad at Sam. I was devastated at Levi.
Right? She's just coming alive. Ozzy's finally on board with that. And she just ripped apart. Obliterated by this stupid fucking frog.
God. Oh, do you know the frog's name, by the way?
Hollow. I had the subtitles
Hollow.
on.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, it was in the subtitles? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not have the subtitles, which is funny because I normally do. However, it's in the episode descriptions, which I read.
Ah, I see.
And I was like, this is horrifying. I hate this creature so much. At first, the first time we see it with Cayman, who we'll talk about in a second, I'm like, oh, wow, this thing's like really cool. Like this like telepathic frog. And then it starts like Cayman introduces a carnivorous diet. I'm like, wow, I hate this creature so much.
It takes a turn for the worst.
It absolutely does. This thing is disgusting and I hate it. I don't want to fucking look at it. Oh my God. But did you predict that Levi was coming back?
I did actually, in a sense, because I was like, because the whole thing is like cycles on this planet. So and they kept showing us that like blue flower thing coming from the dead bodies.
Yeah.
So I was pretty sure they were going to bring everyone back as like, okay, they have been assimilated into the planet. And so the planet's going to bring them back like it does with everything else.
Yeah.
But then it was just Levi.
Right. Levi comes back at episode 11. Obviously, spoiler alert. But there was literally an ending scene somewhere in like episode 7 or 8 where one crab looking thing picks up a screw from the river. Yeah. And I'm like, that's it. Levi's coming back. Levi's not staying dead. I had so much invested in me being right in my prediction. I'm like, this has to be true. And then I saw the episode title of The Return, and I'm like, this is it. When is Levi coming back? I have to know. And I was so excited. I was like initially pretty scared that like the world sort of reconstructed Levi without any of the memory.
Yeah.
Because that's how Ursula sort of interacts with Levi at first, but then Levi picks up the rope with Ozzy's blood on it, and then you just get the most wholesome reunion where Levi saves the day, knocks Hollow across the fucking planet, and Ozzy's like, Levi, you came back for me, and Levi's like, I had to, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
They're besties.
This is so good.
Levi, she didn't give a shit about Ursula.
That's right. Nobody cares about Ursula. And then once Levi said I had to, I fully expected Ozzy to die. Like maybe not right then, but like, I don't know, sometime between episode 11 and 12, I fully expected that Ozzy was going to die.
Take her out.
It obviously didn't end up happening, which I'm thankful for, but I expected, since we got how many happy endings can we actually have?
None, technically, really, if you really think about it.
Well, speaking of not a happy ending, let's talk about Cayman.
Oh, man. Cayman, worst person ever. Loved his story. He is
of course you did.
The worst thing to happen to this planet, to the Demeter, and to everyone around him.
100%.
Everything is his fault.
Yep. We first encounter Cayman sort of locked in the escape pod high in the trees, and then we meet Hollow, who ends up rescuing Cayman. They sort of form another symbiotic relationship of getting food for each other.
Yeah.
Cayman gets fruit for Hollow, who and then sort of disgustingly regurgitates it baby bird style into sort of this like almost like drug infused sap.
Yeah. Makes him hallucinate. Maybe that's just the general psychicness.
I think it's a bit of both. It like obviously the psychicness is there. Hollow has telekinetic powers, but I think like that goo because originally Hollow feeds the goo to the smaller creatures.
Yeah.
And then those things collect food and brings it back to Hollow, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of what we get out of Cayman's storyline for a while, is introducing or collecting food for Hollow, and then he can't find enough, so he starts resorting to
violence.
Right, violence. And all the while, he's sort of hallucinating and having dreams about Fiona.
Yeah. His on-again, off-again girlfriend.
Who he convinced to join the Demeter.
Oh my god. You shouldn't have done it, Fiona.
Yeah, and we find out that he is not only responsible for killing Levi, basically, well, sort of inadvertently killing Levi, but he had a role to play.
Yeah.
But also the Demeter being rerouted, the Demeter sort of having the malfunction that it does, and then everybody needs to escape. All of it is his fault.
It's also his fault, indirectly, why the poachers are even looking for the Demeter in the first place.
Why?
Because it destroys their ship.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Hollow doesn't like... I think... What did you make of Hollow sort of, like, tracking everybody down and killing them?
I think Hollow maybe got the sense through, like, Cayman's memories, that if the, like, humans or whatever succeeded, they would take Cayman from it. So he's going... The Hollow is then stopping everyone from making any kind of progress. Because I know...
Interesting.
Because it's almost like it's like indirect distress. What's his face? Cayman loves Fiona, and he wanted Fiona,
right.
But Fiona inspires bad feelings, and that's what Hollow's feeling.
Okay, I took it more as almost like Hollow sort of like a protector of Vesta.
Yeah,
like Hollow destroys, well, kills all the humans except Cayman, because obviously he needs somebody. He relies on somebody. But he kills all the other things he encounters, and Hollow destroys the ship without having any relation to Cayman. So Hollow knows nothing about this ship, but destroys it all the same.
Yeah.
And then seeks to destroy and kill everybody in the Demeter. I almost saw it like Hollow doesn't want anyone disrupting this sort of cycle, because obviously Hollow seems like one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I saw, but I could also definitely, get with the fact that it's self-preservation and Hollow doesn't want to lose Cayman.
Yeah. Because then, what's her face? Ozzy tries to pull Cayman out of it. She fails, of course, but...
Well, I didn't understand... That was one of my points of confusion. Like, why did Hollow just absorb Cayman?
Because Cayman told him to.
Well, Cayman said, end it. Like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. So fucking Hollow vores Cayman, absorbs him, and then starts, like, almost feeding off of him, but also feeding him.
I saw it looked at least in the sequence, the way they animated the sequence, it looked very much like birth imagery, pregnancy imagery. He's got the umbilical cord. He's, like, in a womb of sorts.
Well, I mean, that makes perfect sense, because Hollow dies, basically. Levi fucking murks him.
Yeah.
And then out, pops Cayman and a young Hollow.
Yeah.
So I guess, actually, that makes a lot of sense. It did. I didn't pick it up then, but you're totally right, I think. There was some sort of, birthing, regeneration sort of aspect to it. Which, makes sense why Hollow wouldn't want to lose anybody.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't want to lose Cayman, specifically. And then I also like that it was interesting that they didn't show any sort of grief on Cayman's aspect to Fiona dying, other than, like, planting, like, one, like, flower or marker in her honor or something.
Yeah.
He's just sort of okay with it, and he doesn't say, he's, like, mute at the end.
Yeah.
Doesn't say
Too
anything.
traumatized.
My man is going through it.
Listen, he brought it about himself. He and Fiona could have been together in that fucking escape pod. He wasn't so fucking selfish.
Well, so okay. He tried to like get back up and like open it for her, but he couldn't. He was already strapped in.
He should have got in.
I agree. He should have done what Sam said and been the last one. Right. But again, his whole thing is a lot like the planet. He cycles in and out of selfishness.
Yeah.
He's extremely selfish and all of his decisions are made to support whatever he's thinking at the time, and then has extreme remorse and depression about it, and then goes back to that same cycle.
Yeah.
And I think he's also his entire storyline is extremely what's the word? Not representative of the human condition. Is what I was trying to say. It is extremely telling and very real about all of Cayman's decisions. Because if other people were in his situation, I think they would probably act pretty similar to him.
Perhaps. At least on the planet.
The average human being.
I'm down to be in a symbiotic relationship with a psychic toad.
What about a carnivorous psychic toad?
Sure, I'm the one who made it carnivorous, technically. I'll take responsibility for that. Because my bitch ass surely can't climb trees.
True, Hollow can climb anything. That motherfucker has gone to the gym.
Huge.
Did not skip leg day.
Making massive gains.
So, okay, why was this Cayman's plotline your favorite?
I don't know. I think it's like the self-destructive path he went on. It's this weird dynamic. He's the only one who has like a dynamic with something with this planet. Ozzy sort of has it through Levi, but Levi is also sort of Fiona and also sort of whatever the Levi AI is. The Toad is completely 100% this planet. I am interested to see how this like symbiotic relationship is supposed to play out, because once he makes what's-his-face Hollow a carnivore, he kills all the other psychic toads. And there seemed to be like some sort of end to this like this relationship with like the shiny things. I thought Hollow was just I thought Cayman was gonna lay down and he was gonna become that pile of shiny things. Oh no, they were just vibing. They were buddies.
It did. It definitely seemed like they were, in fact, some kind of buddies.
Like even when what's-his-face Cayman was fucking up getting the fruit, Hollow was like, "It's cool, man. Try again tomorrow."
It was kind of
weird.
It was weird, but like I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
This whole show was like I couldn't just stop watching it. Like it was so intriguing and captivating, which is why I think it's so good.
Yeah.
There were so many questions that I had, and I still have a lot of questions, but like I don't come away from watching the show confused.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive on the writer and animator's part. Like, no, they didn't answer all my questions, but I also don't need them to. It doesn't detract from my viewing experience.
Yeah, I don't need to know every single bit of world building. I just know this planet is on some freak shit.
That's right.
Like when they get sucked up into the vagina plant.
Oh yeah.
With the area with like they were basically ostriches.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, that one. I thought you meant the one where it like stabs Sam and makes a clone of him.
That one too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wild. It made another him.
That one was horrifying. That was some actual freak shit. I'm like, wow, this is awful.
And then there was that plant thing that seemed to be doing. It had like a similar effect on the woman as the psychic toad had on Cayman, with like the eyes and their like sense of what they were seeing was probably not completely accurate.
Yeah, it seemed like there were multiple sort of parasite-esque creatures in this world.
Yeah,
there's the plant version, and then there's the creature version. The plant one is infinitely more terrifying.
It is.
I think. Hollow's not like that bad, and in fact, I'm sure Hollow would be fine if it was kept to a mostly vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
it was much creepier once it started eating people and creatures.
Eating whole mutant hippo.
What do you rate Cayman's storyline?
10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it. Oh, did we rate Ozzy and Levi?
I don't think we did.
I'm giving that one an 8, and I'm giving Cayman a 7.
I'll give Ozzy and Levi's 5 out of 10 because I like Levi. I like how things came around.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Give me a rating for Ozzy and give me a rating for Levi.
I got Ozzy 2, Levi 8 or 9.
I'm giving Ozzy a 7. I'm giving Ozzy a 6, actually.
Okay.
And I'm giving, because I think Ozzy is sort of the opposite coin of Cayman in a way, where Ozzy doesn't really depend on anybody. She doesn't want to depend on anybody, and she's almost, it doesn't even really want to make friends with people. That's why she moves jobs so often.
Yeah.
Whereas Cayman is a lot like the relationship with Hollow. He feeds on one person.
He's a leech.
And this one person, he's the leech. And this one person in the show is Fiona.
Yeah.
And so there's a duality there. But Ozzy's was a lot more basic.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as explored. Obviously, she ends up sort of becoming more regular human and realizes that she needs these relationships to be human.
Yeah.
And Mia's alive and everything. But I think she was a 6. Levi was like a 9. Levi was so good.
Levi's great.
Yeah. Rating on the show overall, or like final thoughts. Let's do final thoughts.
Final thoughts, quality show. Give it a watch. It's got a very hopeful but hopeless ending. Because they're still on the planet. They're still stuck there.
Yeah.
Chris does get away, but she gets her comeuppance. She does. She was so determined to leave as fast as possible so she wouldn't have to help anyone that it fucked her over in the end as she's floating through space lost without any food or water. Like, what? You left without water?
The whole show really exemplifies the relationship of dependency. Both on human to human and human to nature.
Yeah.
Which I thought both representations of it were like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just solely exist on yourself being some schmuck, not caring about anybody and doing all these things. You have to have some sort of dependency, whether it is solely to survive or more of a social aspect. But either way, you need somebody, something. And then the relationship between nature, you can't just like brute force your way through anything. In fact, characters in the show tried to brute force things, and most of the time it got them fucked.
Yeah. Sam dies as the result of his brute force and not really caring for the nature around him. Ursula breezes through all of this because she's so aware and in tune with the nature. And Ozzy has a hard time until she also starts embracing the nature around her.
And Levi does not, because Levi embraces it right away.
Yeah.
Which, it was really, really cool. So this is my favorite thing I've watched this year.
It's good.
And I don't think it's particularly close. I thought it was really good. I am devastated that it was canceled.
I know, right? And it's probably all we're getting.
I do not understand how this was canceled, because I have only seen positive reviews on this. This got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and a masterpiece review from IGN.
Yeah, it's just some corporate schmuck not having faith in it.
Right, which is, I think there is a chance that this, something more happens with this now that Netflix has picked it up.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be anytime in a couple years.
Yeah.
It's going to be like at least, so the video I sent you, they're like sort of 8-minute short, was from like 5 years ago.
Oh man. See, in 10 years.
Right. So if we get anything more out of this, which hopefully we will, it won't be for a while.
Maybe it'll knock some sense into corporate people. I've seen people like talk about like their pitching experience, and it seems across the board, companies actually don't want sci-fi shows for some reason. Just like if you come in with a sci-fi show, it's an instant no.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, so
and this did so well.
Right, I get like if it's some average sci-fi show, but this is far from your run-of-the-mill average like sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Like this was a masterpiece of creativity. It was so clever and unique, and just like there's so many layers to it that you just have to keep unfolding that were so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Criminal. I hate like the corporate shills that control what gets, pitched and what gets, a pilot and what doesn't and all that stuff.
You once he gets a chance to like be heard out. Like, come on.
We got to get rid of all the idiots.
Put him on the chopping block. Put me in charge.
Yeah, that's right. You just send all the good stuff through.
I would.
All right. Final review, Scavengers Reign. What do you give it?
Solid 9 out of 10. Give it a watch. Good stuff.
10 out of 10. The coveted Luke review. 10 out of 10. It never happens.
Wow.
This was so extraordinary. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. Our review of it will not at all taint your experience of watching the show.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee any viewer watching it will get something out of it that we did not explore.
Yeah, definitely. If we skimmed over like the middle episodes.
Oh yeah, like we didn't even talk about the Scavengers group, like Chris and Terrence and
the other one, Barry.
Like, right, we didn't talk about any of that. There's like, a lot more adventures that the people get through, but there's so much in this show in such a compact. That's the other thing. Is like they showed a fuck ton in 12 episodes that were only 20 minutes.
Yeah,
long.
the writers team definitely trusted the animation team, which doesn't often happen.
That's interesting. Can you like explain more of that? What do you mean?
So you ever watch something, and I complain it all the time. There's a bunch of dialogue and exposition, over-explaining things, and they're doing that because they don't trust the visuals to just do it for them.
Yeah. 100% agree. 100%. Definitely agree. It was so. I thought this was really similar. My viewing experience and how I come out of the show was really similar to my watching of Arcane.
Ooh.
Right? Because like I thought the story and the animation were like both 10 out of 10s, and they've lined up really, really well together. They're obviously completely different genres.
Yeah.
And don't overlap that way, but like how it come out, like how you said the writers trusted the animators. Like I felt like that was the same case with Arcane.
Yeah, definitely.
Which also recently got announced for coming out in November, season 2.
Oh, see, that's what I was gonna say. Arcane gonna steal best show of the year.
That's true. This probably won't. Well, this was 2023.
It was?
Scavengers Reign came out in 2023.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah. But it wasn't popularized until now because it got canceled like right away.
Yeah.
Which is a crime. Fuck HBO Max. Fuck all of you. Awful. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Solid reviews. Go give it a watch if you haven't. Go give it 2 watches if you already have one. Moving right along to Rain's question of the week. Wolf, what is it?
If you could invent a new breed of dog, what would its purpose be?
By all means, you first.
Oh, okay. I would invent a mid-sized dog whose purpose is to like it produces Wi-Fi. I think we're at the level of like biomechanics that it would be fully possible, and it wouldn't hurt the dog at all. It'd be fairly healthy dogs by dog breed standards.
Sure.
Compared to like a pug or the other ones.
The atrocities of the dog breed.
Yeah. I think
the war crimes.
We could inject it probably like mushrooms or something, and you could use it as like a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Interesting. I love it. You know how expensive that puppy will be?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, in theory, people only need so many of them, right? Like,
yeah.
Because the Wi-Fi, you could, depending on how wide the range is, you could, if it's like a city or something, in theory, like if it's New York or California or something,
yeah,
like San Diego, I don't know how big it is, but you like only need so many per area to cover like all of San Diego.
Just let them run free.
Right. No, that's true. You could just you'd be running around trying to catch the Wi-Fi dog.
Alternatively, dogs that photosynthesize to save the environment.
Oh, true. Wait, how would that help?
What do you mean, how?
Photosynthesis just means it just gets energy from the sun.
Oh, because like, what makes oxygen appear? Is it not photosynthesis?
Well, not entirely, no. You're talking about like a dog that's also part tree.
Okay. So whatever it is trees do, the dog also does.
Okay. Yeah, all greenery, but trees especially, produce oxygen.
I see.
So we would need some hybrid dog plant.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Water your dog once a day.
Okay. So we're not at all the stage where my dog could exist.
Okay.
And this is going to sound odd for a bit, but hang in there. I promise it'll make sense towards the end. I want a dog where you get it at any point in your life. You get it from a puppy and it ages alongside you.
Oh, okay.
So if I get it from when I'm 5 years old to when, assume that I naturally die, that dog will age at the same rate of when from my 5-year-old's existence onward until I die, say at the age of 80 from natural causes.
You want an immortal dog.
I want a dog that dies 5 minutes before me. Because and that sounds macabre maybe, but hear me out. Throughout a dog's life, its owner is its best friend.
Yeah.
And not only best friend, it's the entire world.
Yeah.
It is the person that feeds it, the person that takes care of it, everything.
Yeah.
The dog loves the owner, assuming you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The dog
even if you are a
loves
piece of
the
shit
owners.
sometimes.
Honestly true. That's how great dogs are. And so a dog would 100% take the prolonged life because most dog breeds only go a max of like 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And that's like pushing it. But what do humans do? They probably just get another dog most of the time. Right? And so for 15 years, you love this dog, great. But then you get another one. I would rather just get one dog my whole life. And then, that's how it is. And then it doesn't have to exist in a world without me. Because one of the worst things is when the human that's taking care of the dog this whole time dies.
Yeah.
Dogs often go into depression after that.
Yeah.
And so then it's even worse. So if the dog dies, 5 minutes before I do, then it's great. However, the problem here is that it has to be of natural causes. Because if I get hit by a bus and the dog then just explodes, that's horrifying.
Listen,
that's awful.
That's the cost we pay to have this wonderful thing, to have our forever dogs.
True. Right. And it's great for the dog. It's great for me. I would 100% take that deal.
Oh, same.
Right? Like that's a great thing. And then we wouldn't have all these shill breeders treating dogs awfully.
True.
Because people just do it for the money, not for the, love of dogs.
We have a forever dog. It's even more worse to keep making more dogs.
Exactly. It's true. So that will not be able to exist ever, but it'd be cool if it did.
You've solved the backyard breeding problem.
That's right.
Science make it happen. Just like inject a kill switch that as soon as your heart stops beating, it just poisons the dog and it just falls over and dies peacefully.
Right. Well, no. So I specifically want the dog to die first so it doesn't have to live in a world without its owner.
I see.
Right? I don't want any point of sadness on the dog.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can die at the same time and die happily together.
Yeah. Probably
maybe
that's
better. Right.
Because what if it's a false positive? Like, you're about to die and they revive you.
I start choking on a piece of broccoli and the dog's like all scared, like I'm not ready to go. And then the dog just like explodes and then they do see like the Heimlich maneuver on me and I survive.
Launch it out of you. And you're fine.
It's like shit. Or it's like the people that like die for like 10 minutes and then come back.
Oh, yeah.
The really weird shit. That like, it's like every, 10 years you hear about a story like that where someone is like actually dead for like 5 or 10 minutes.
And they came back without their dog. Or the dog comes back wrong.
The dog comes back, it morphs back together. It just like explodes and then just morphs all back into a pile.
Never mind. I'm good.
False alarm.
Woof woof.
I did think about my other idea was that just a dog that can verbalize its own thoughts.
Oh.
I don't want the dog just like to speak English, like that's a cop out.
Yeah.
But I want the dog to be able to talk in the way that it like how it perceives its own thoughts.
See, we could achieve that once we master animal hybrids. You just combine a parrot and a dog.
True. One of the worst things I've seen recently, or not recently, but people like training their dogs to use buttons.
Oh yeah.
To talk. No chance in hell would I ever do that.
Why not?
Holy shit, that's the most horrifying thing that people actually do.
What? You want a talking dog, but you don't want them to use the buttons?
No, because because the buttons are trained self-restrictions on the dog's consciousness.
Okay.
I want the dog to be able to think freely and not just use a set of instructions that I've laid out for it. And especially when one of the buttons I've heard has been programmed for the dog to say bitch.
I have seen that one.
I don't want that. And I also don't like... Okay, maybe I don't want a talking dog on second thought.
Right, you can teach a parrot to say bitch. You can teach a parrot to say lots of things.
You can teach a parrot to say anything. In fact, you didn't even have to teach it that hard. It'll just learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point, though, because I don't like the dogs that use the buttons to talk. That one is a little too creepy.
Don't want to hear what they have to say.
You just like wake up in the like 3 a.m. and just hear constant bitch, 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 spamming somewhere in the kitchen.
But you are right in that it's a limitation, and they are actually talking. It's like
right.
They're looking at your reactions to the buttons and going based off that.
They're not actually like it's the same thing where they respond to their name.
Yeah.
It's just trained. It's not like they actually understand that you named it Floofykins.
Yeah, whereas the parrot does understand what you said to it.
Right. It has a, greater capacity for speech and understanding. A lot like dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins. Those are also cool.
We should just learn to speak dolphin. I feel like that's the most accessible animal to talk to at this point.
It is the animal with the highest intelligence behind humans.
Yeah. And
I guarantee that the average dolphin is smarter than the average human.
Oh, absolutely. Just like bears.
What?
Because in national parks and stuff, they have put a lot of money into designing trash cans into being complex enough that the smartest bear can't open it, but simple enough that the dumbest human can still open it.
I see. Well, it's like how crows use tools.
Yeah, that too.
Right? Like crows would be another one that we could, similar to parrots. Similar to parrots, where they have the understanding and capacity for like actual thought and
language
and all that stuff. Like, I guess, I bet the average bear is also smarter than the average human.
We just gotta.
I bet the average most animal is smarter than the average human.
We just gotta stick bird genes in all the animals, and they're gonna improve greatly.
You're just talking about Jurassic Park.
They're on to something. That is what they did.
All right, Wolf, take us away.
I'm Wolf, taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 121 of You're Ridiculous.
Woo!
If you liked all that, be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast website, be sure to hit the plus and give us 5 stars to support this show. You can follow us across the internet, the main cast at ridiculous_cast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You follow Lucas at 7 Angry Wasps with an E, and follow me at Rainbow Does without the W. We hope to see you guys all again next week, but until then, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.